Football League, and certainly there's some anticipation. We're looking forward to opening up, but it presents quite a challenge to open against a team such as the Miami Dolphins. We know that, but it also represents a tremendous challenge, and we're going to accept that and accept it as a great opportunity and go about getting the job done.
This is my 21st year as a head coach. Hard to believe I still feel young. I still have the same anxieties as I had when I was first a head coach many, many years ago. I feel that any time that you don't have the butterflies, or you're not excited about the game, or you don't have the enthusiasm, then you ought to look for something else to do. But I still enjoy the meetings, I still enjoy the practices, and above all, I enjoy game day. I don't think that there's any other feeling in the world that you have on the sideline when they're playing the national anthem before the ball is kicked off. So I'm looking forward to today, and I'm looking forward to this season. I'm very pleased with what we've done in preseason, and I hope that it can continue into the regular season. It starts here today against the Buffalo Bills.
And that's the type of enthusiasm that we have as we start the 1983 season. NBC Sports presents the best of the National Football League. Today's game is brought to you by Dodge Cars, America's driving machines, and Dodge Ram Tough Trucks. By Refreshing Hawaiian Punch. And by Goodyear, makers of Wrangler all-season radios for light trucks. Today it's the Miami Dolphins against the Buffalo Bills here at Rich Stadium in Buffalo. The temperature on the warm side, near 90. It is very humid, a sellout crowd. 21,000 season tickets, but 59,000 individual tickets sold for this ball game. Hello, everybody. I'm Charlie Jones, and this is Bob Greasy.
Charlie, it's going to be a great day today. This is more like Dolphin weather than it is Buffalo Bill weather. These teams have played for almost 30 years. The Dolphins have really dominated the series, unlike any team that has played the Buffalo Bills. The Dolphins are coming off 2 good games in preseason. The Bills have been struggling. It should be a good ball game.
And the crowd here at Rich Stadium is already, Bob Greasy, in mid-season. Roosevelt Leaks and Joe Cribbs in the backfield. The receivers, Butler, Lewis, they did not play in preseason. Mark Bramer is the tight end. Expect to see a lot of double tight end. Here's a look at the line. Jones, Richard Grant, Borchardt, and Justin Crotch. So Buffalo from their own 20-yard line, first down. Roosevelt leads. Fall forward for short yardage. Bob Baumauer, the nose tackle, was the first man to get to it. Now let's look at the Dolphin defense. They'll go with a basic 3-4. Bitters, Baumauer, and Bo Camper. Linebackers. Zinski. A.J. is there, of course. Rowan and Bowser. And in the secondary, Judson Small and the Blackwood brothers. 23-yard line, gain of 3, second down, 7. Cribbs, the second back through, has the first down, 34-yard line, gain of 11. Bowser, the linebacker, makes the tackle.
A good example, Charlie, of the flow of the Dolphin linebackers. It starts off to the left. Cribbs reads a little block back to the right. The Dolphin linebackers overrun it. This is the danger of very active linebackers starting off with straight blocking. Cribbs cutting it back where he sees the daylight.
And now for Buffalo, Cribbs, the remaining back. Tony Hunter, the #1 draft choice, is in a double tight end set, but Hunter, of course, can play everywhere. Lewis shows motion. Outside the 37, gain of 3, second down and 7. Leaks will come back in. Now we will see on both sides shifting of the offense in a way similar to what the Cowboys do.
You see a lot of substitution. It seems like this day and age, it's situation defense, situation offense. You'll see a lot of that on both sides of the ball today.
Cribbs coming out of the flank. Ferguson looking right. Throw to Butler. His first reception of the season, out of bounds at the 46. First down. Gain of 9.
The Bills are giving him a lot of different looks offensively. Ferguson split out Cribbs, but it's just a little quick out. It's a good pass to get the game started with. Fergie had a little problem last year completion-wise. He was down a little bit from his statistics over his career. Starts off the season this year with a good, positive play. Good play.
First down for Buffalo. He was terrible after the strike last year. 15, 16 interceptions. But he did have a strong start, and he has a strong opening here. He gives to Roosevelt Leak near the 50-yard line. He'll pick up about 4. Bob Baumauer was there for the defense. It'll be second down and 6.
You know, Charlie, there was been a lot of conversation in Buffalo about Joe Ferguson. I think he'll admit himself that he had a bad year, an off year last year, but I think when you're talking about Joe Ferguson, you got to look at his whole career. He hasn't had many off years. He's been a solid performer. He figures to come back and have another good year this year.
His 11th season out of the University of Arkansas, the former Razorback at the helm. Cribbs diving to the Miami 46. Has 4. It'll be third down and 2. And again, it is inside linebacker Ernest Rowan who cut him down.
Charlie, we may point out here that number 47 is a tight end. Tony Hunter, the number 1 draft choice of the Bills out of the Notre Dame. He is being inserted as a wingback. He played that at Notre Dame. He'll be at some at tight end. He may even play wide receiver, but that 47 going back and forth across is actually a tight end. He can do a lot of different things.
And just kind of file that number away because it becomes number 49 this week. We'll mention that. They didn't have, we've got a timeout call. As Buffalo takes a timeout with 11:31 left to go. We're in the first quarter. We do not have a score. Buffalo has possession. We'll be back in just a moment with our coverage. Stay with us. 5. Well, all of the 80s are taken for the Buffalo Bills. His choice was 49, but they didn't have an extra large in 49. It's ordered. It'll be in next week. Today he's wearing 47. Cribbs the remaining back. Third down and 2. Hunter shows motion. Right side. Cribbs is in trouble. He's on his own. Ferguson looks. Ferguson lays a block. Cribbs ad-libs. He'll end up losing a couple back to the 48. Costly play for the Bills. Bob Brzezinski is the man who brought him down.
This is just good defense on the part of the Miami Dolphins. There's nothing there. It's straight blocking. Betters gets good penetration into the backfield. Cribbs trying to find a hole somewhere. He gets 2 yards. Once he gets 2 yards upfield, there's nothing there. The pursuit is good. And down he goes. Joe Ferguson threw a nice block.
Yes, he did.
Quarterbacks are good blockers.
But seldom but good.
Seldomly used.
Cater kicking to Vigorito. And one of the upbacks calls for the fair catch. That is Mike Kozlowski. And he fields it at the 14-yard line. So we have a change of possession. 10:42 left to go following that punt of third offensive possession. Woodley, Nathan, Franklin, that's the backfield. Receivers, Harris, Cephalo, Dan Johnson, tight end. Could be one of the keys. Kiesler, Kuchenberg, Stevenson, Newman, Laxaw. Eric has an ankle problem. Don't know how long he can last today. Miami from their own 14, first down. The second back through is Tony Nathan. 2 yards to the 16. He's second down and 8. Now let's look at that defense. Sherman White made the tackle. He is part of that front 3, their basic set. Williams, nose tackle is Smirla, Sherman White. Linebacker, Sanford, Keating, Marvin, Parker. And in the secondary, Clark, Romes, Freeman, and Cook. So the cast for the drama of the afternoon has now been set on both sides. It is second down and 8 Dolphins from their own 16. No score. Moving on the 10-minute mark of the first period. Second back through, a reach on the handoff and a loss of a yard. Nathan stopped by Ben Williams at the 15. The Buffalo Bills defense really pumped up.
They introduced them before the ball game, and I've never seen the Buffalo Bill defense that pumped up. They were number 2 in the National Football League in defense last year, and number 2 against the pass. They've got a very good defensive team, and they plan on shutting down the Dolphins early in this ball game.
Kay Stevenson, the head coach of Buffalo in his first year. Don Shula, head coach of Miami, his 21st year. Jim Tunney, the referee, starts his 24th year. From the shotgun, 3rd down 9. Screen. Nathan to the 20. Diving, trying to pick up the first down, has to go to the 24. And he may not have made it. Cush makes the tackle. He brought him down. And I believe they'll spot it about a half a yard or a yard shy. And the fans tell the end of that tale. Now, a major part of the drama today, number 4, the rookie from Iowa, Reggie Roby, the punter. Preseason average 49.3 yards. Number 4, kicking terrific. Bounces it, picks it up at the 18-yard line. Critics to the 30, still at his feet, to the 40. 43-yard line.
Fumble.
And the Bills have it. And Roby was downfield. Darryl Talley recovered for Buffalo.
This punt was a little bit lower than Roby would have liked it. It was a line drive, 55 yards. The only problem is there's a 22-yard return. It's not Roby's fault. Plenty of Dolphins down under there, just poor tackling and good running by Reddick. Fighting and scratching for everything he can get, and Roby making one of the few tackles he hopes he's going to make this year, Charlie.
The Bills retain possession following the fumble. First quarter score, Green Bay leading Houston 7-0. Quite a few games going on today, and we'll be updating you as time permits. Here's another one. Minnesota over Cleveland 7-0 first quarter. Here we have no score. Buffalo has the ball on their own, just outside their own 42-yard line. First. Quick screen to Cribbs, diagnosed for the Dolphin defense as Glenn Blackwood, an outstanding defensive play.
Glenn Blackwood is a key to the Dolphin defense. If you want to look for the brains of that defense, you look at A.J. Dewey and Glenn Blackwood. This is a little option screen, they call it. Joe Ferguson looking downfield, can throw it downfield if there's a hole. Has a man in the flat, Joe Cribbs. There's an offensive lineman out there that Blackwood had to get around to come up and make the tackle. It's a good play by Glenn Blackwood.
Loss of 4, 2nd and 14, 38-yard line. Sellout crowd here of 80,020. Cribbs in motion. Roosevelt leads. And he is stacked up with the Dolphin defense. May have a yard. That's about it to the 39. It'll be 3rd down and 13. A.J. Dewey and Bob Baumauer were there for Miami. St. Louis leading New Orleans 7-0. First quarter score.
A lot of people have some high hopes for St. Louis this year, Charles.
They do. I enjoyed Don Shula's statement. He has the same enthusiasm on game day as he did 21 years ago, his first time as a head coach.
And he says it pretty much the way he feels, too. That was his inner feelings at that moment.
3rd down, 13 from the shotgun. Cribbs, first down. Yards to Miami 44. Blackwood with a tackle.
Looking behind Ferguson, he's looking downfield. He sets up good throw. He's got to lay it in between two Dolphins. Cribbs was going deeper. Butler had gone down and ran a little out pattern. Here you see Glenn Blackwood covering his side of the zone. Sees it all the way, just can't get there in time. It was a good throw by Ferguson.
First down Buffalo, Miami 44-yard line. Cribbs the ball carrier. Just inside the 41, mark it for 3 at 2nd down 7. Baumauer with the tackle. Check of the scoreboard now. Green Bay 7, Houston 3.
You know, Charlie, that the pass that Ferguson just completed, a third down conversion, really gives a quarterback a big boost to go in and complete a big third down conversion. Helps his confidence going into the ball game. They were very good at it last year. I think they were third in the National Football League in converting third down situations.
Tony Hunter is in as a tight end. Cribbs is out, leaks the remaining back. 2nd and 7. Ferguson to throw. He is really on target. This one is to the #1 draft choice, Tony Hunter. 37-yard line. Gain of 4. 3rd down 3. Blackwood with the tackle.
You see Tony Hunter trying to sneak underneath. Glenn Blackwood fights his way through. 47, tackling 47. They just aren't quite the same size.
A little bit of a mismatch there. Tony Hunter 6'4", 237 pounds. Ferguson off to a perfect start, 4 for 4. Now he has another third down situation. 3rd down and 3. He has 6 men in the Miami secondary. Julius Dawkins is in as a receiver for the Bills. Going deep, right side. Flag is down. Dawkins, the intended receiver, Paul Langford with the coverage. It may be against the Bills.
No foul.
No
Ball
foul.
thrown out of bounds. Not catchable. 4th down.
That's the definition of the rules. If the ball is not catchable, you cannot have interference.
Good coverage by Paul Langford.
I didn't see a foul there. He may have happened before he picked up the play, but I didn't
No,
see
there was
it.
definitely not one there. It's an interesting call by Ferguson. 3rd and 3. You normally would expect him to throw something short to pick up the first down. Throws it downfield, trying to get an easy 6.
Rick Cater to kick. 4:25 left to go. We're in the first quarter with no score. Going for the corner. He's got it. Let's see where they mark it out.
I messed up, Gene. I'm sorry.
They'll mark it out around the 8-yard line. So Miami takes over, but again, they have a very disadvantaged field position. We'll be back. Sweep right side, Nathan. And Tony's to the 10-yard line. A gain of 2. It'll be 2nd down and 8. Steve Freeman moving up from strong safety along with Eugene Marv, the inside linebacker.
You know, Charlie, the battle on the inside of the Miami Dolphins offensive line is going to be a good one. Fred Smerlis, the nose tackle, all pro the last 3 years against Dwight Stevenson, Bob Kuchenberg, and Ed Newman, all 3 very good offensive players. See Smerlis getting cut from behind that time, but Stevenson may be one of the best centers in the league this year.
2nd down and 8. David Woodley, the quarterback. Flags on the play. Buffalo may be called for encroachment. Nathan outside, and he picks up the first down. They'll take the play. Steve Freeman was there for the defense. One of the Bills' defensive linemen was jumping, may have been caught in the neutral zone with the snap. It was 2nd down and 8, but Miami will refuse it and take the first down at the 23. Now, in the meantime, let's check the scoreboard. Raiders leading Cincinnati 7-0. Baltimore 3-0 over New England. That's what we have.
Offside. 76. Decline. First down.
Called on the nose tackle, Fred Smerlis. First down at the Miami, just outside the 22-yard line.
David Woodley has been very proficient this preseason in using the cadence to his advantage. They're one of the prime examples of pulling defensive linemen offsides, a little bit of insurance against the play that you're running.
You saw Dan Johnson, number 87, now in at tight end, moving to the left side of the offensive set. Woodley scrambling, 22-yard line. Back to the line of scrimmage. It'll be 2nd and 10. Ben Williams brought him down. Now, Woodley is a good runner. He was the leading rusher among quarterbacks last year in the short season.
It's not by design anymore. It's by necessity. Anytime you can have a quarterback who can run, it certainly puts added pressure on the defensive unit of the team that you're playing.
What was your philosophy? Run or not to run or throw the ball away?
If you couldn't throw it away, you couldn't complete it, throw it away. If you couldn't throw it away, find someplace and slide into the base.
All right. Second and 10, Woody Bennett replaces Franklin, the offensive set for the Dolphins. And we have a flag. Buffalo again. Offsides. Pass is incomplete. Cephalo, the intended receiver. So they'll bring it back, and it'll be second down and 5 because they'll mark off the penalty against the Bills. Freeman and Romes had the coverage in the secondary. Now, what kind of coverages will David Woodley be looking at today?
Well, right there, he was looking at a zone. It was a good pattern. It was a good call because both wide receivers were going straight down the field. The tight end was going down the middle.
Offside, 76, still second down.
He gets around Romes. Freeman's got to pick him up deep. It was a good thought. Execution was just a little off, but the thought play was good.
Andrew Franklin back into the backfield for the Dolphins. Second down and 5. 2:38 time remaining. We're in the first quarter with no score. Johnson in motion. Nathan is stacked up just outside the 30-yard line, a gain of 3. Let's go to New York in NFL 83.
Thank you, Charlie. Len Berman in New York, and the debut of John Elway in Pittsburgh. He has plenty of time in scoring position. Jack Lambert hits him. The Steelers recover. A rocky start for the super rookie. Scoreless in the first quarter. Let's go back to Charlie and Bob in Buffalo.
We're scoreless here, and Elway's going to have problems. I mean, he's going to see everybody.
If there was one team I wouldn't want to break in with against in the National Football League, it would be the Steelers because of all their different varied defenses and blitzes.
Third down and 2. Nathan in motion. Franklin. Bills hold. To kick. And this time, Rob Riddick sets up even different. Now, Roby is just outside the 15. Riddick is at the 11-yard line. Takes it at the 16. And that's where they'll go to work. Mark Duper down very quickly for the special team. We've got a timeout, a 55-yard kick. 1:01 left to go. First quarter, we have no score. We'll be back in a moment. We've got a...
Seattle Seahawks take on the New York Sack Exchange. Or the Oilers go up against the explosive LA Raiders. Plus hard-hitting regional action on NBC.
The two head coaches, Kay Stevenson on the left of the Buffalo Bills, Don Shula on the right of the Miami Dolphins. And what a awesome weapon the punter, Reggie Roby, is for Miami. 55-yard kick. And pinning Riddick at the sideline. Buffalo now from their own 16. If the Dolphins can hope, they will finally have some field position. It'll be Roby that gave it to him. Ferguson's pass is intercepted. Miami has the ball. It is Glenn Blackwood. Cribbs, the intended receiver. And we have the first turnover of the ball game. And Miami does have that field position again. It was set up by the punter.
Ferguson throws into the coverage here. This is a zone to his right. He goes ahead and throws into the coverage. Blackwood sees the ball all the way, comes over, makes a big play.
We've got a timeout. We'll be back in a moment with the Dolphins on offense. Will be sorely tested. The Bills at home, regular season last year, not allowing a touchdown in 14 quarters. The last 14 quarters that they played at home prior to today. Miami at the Buffalo 34-yard line. Quick out is incomplete, going to Duriel Harris. Mario Clark, number 29 in the defensive coverage. Let's check the scoreboard. It'll be second down and 10. Rams leading the Giants. 3-0. Atlanta out in front of Chicago 6-0. Houston coming from behind now, leading Green Bay 10-7. Detroit with a safety. 2-0 over Tampa Bay. No score here. Woody Bennett is in the backfield for Miami at 2nd and 10. Nathan chased out of bounds around the 21-yard line by Rod Cook. That'll pick up the first down. A gain of 13.
Just a sweep. Tony Nathan reading his blockers. Newman out in front throws a good block on Sanford.
21-yard line. First down. 44 seconds left to go first quarter. Franklin's back into the offense. Cefalo goes wide to the far side, and Harris wide to the near side. And the running backs are split. From the passing formation. Incomplete. Was there a misread or a misrun of a pattern?
I think it was the fact that Woodley thought he'd go one way and he went the other way. It was a zone coverage, so usually when it's a zone coverage, the route is off and you sit down in one of the holes in between a linebacker or the defensive backs. Woodley obviously thought he was going to be a little bit wider than he was.
2nd and 10, 21-yard line. Now Bennett comes in, Franklin comes out. Is this a messenger service from Shula?
Could be. Bennett usually is in there late in the ballgame, so he's not a pass receiver or a runner any more so than Andre Franklin is.
2nd and 10. Both backs in the block, one then breaks clean, far side pass incomplete. Cefalo, the intended receiver, Charles Romes was there. It'll be 3rd down and 10. So maybe the Buffalo defense knows about that statistic of no touchdowns in the last 14 quarters.
I think they know it very well, Charlie. You also have to know that the Buffalo Bills defense is percentage-wise lets the other team complete fewer passes. Any team in the National Football League last year, their percentage was less than 50% completion on their secondary.
3rd down and 10. Joe Rose in as a tight end. Vigorito is into the offensive set from the shotgun. And the give underneath is to Vigorito. Was it a give or a direct snap?
No, it was the old shuttle pass forward. It's a play they like to run on Gastineau, the Jets, when you have a defensive end coming upfield very fast. This time, Sherman White on the right side comes up forward. Woodley drifts that way, pulls him upfield, and shuttles the ball forward to Vigorito. I thought if Vigorito had turned up a little bit quicker, he may have gotten close to the first down.
Gain of 6 to just inside the 15. It'll be 4th down and 4. Uwe von Schamann is in with a field goal attempt. And before we can have the field goal attempt, the first quarter comes to a close. So we have a scoreless first period here between Miami and Buffalo, but that can change in just a moment. We'll be back. We'll be holding for Uwe von Schamann's field goal attempt from 32 yards. Now, this is a new holder this year.
Don Strock was a holder last year. This year, Jensen is holding. Had a problem with one last week. We'll see how he does this day.
So a little change of timing for Uwe von Schamann. Good snap from Kuchenberg. The kick is up after a good hold, and it is good from 32 yards out. So the Miami Dolphins are on the scoreboard as von Schamann splits the uprights from 32 yards away. Here's another look. It's the Dolphins 3 and the Bills nothing. We'll be back with a kickoff in just a moment. Schamann with a 32-yard field goal will be kicking off either Rob Riddick, number 40, or Van Williams, number 23. And he sails another one. Back edge of the end zone taken by Riddick, and he'll down it, and Buffalo will bring the ball out and start from the 20-yard line. 32-yard field goal by von Schamann, set up by the interception of Glenn Blackwood. Coming up next, that's next after this ball game, the second half of the doubleheader, a battle of quarterbacks. Richard Todd of the Jets, Dan Fouts of the Chargers. A showdown on the West Coast between the New York Jets and the San Diego Chargers.
Fouts hadn't played in a couple of weeks.
No, he's had an injury to his arch on one of his fingers.
They weren't keeping him under wraps to hide him from the Jets.
Not at all. Not at all. He didn't see much play at all, and you need to play some, as you know, to get your timing down in preseason. Ferguson giving off to Cribbs. Cribbs to the 25-yard line. He's got 5. Ernest Rowan makes a tackle. It'll be second down and 5. Will the Dolphins be showing in this ballgame different defenses than than the Bills are used to seeing?
I don't think so, Charlie. Bill Arnsparger, the defensive coordinator, has a host of defenses that he'll throw at a team, but he usually does them at each game. Last week, I know he was using a lot of safety blitzes, something to give the Buffalo Bills a lot to prepare for.
Here's Cribbs, second and 5, and he has to fight to get back to the line of scrimmage. No gain. Let's go to New York, NFL 83, for an update.
Thank you, Charlie Jones. Here's more as we continue our watch of John Elway. After completing his first NFL pass, he goes long and deep. It is intercepted by Donnie Shell, but the turnovers haven't hurt. It's scoreless after 1. Back to you, Charlie.
Bob Greasy, there's Arnsberg. What are the problems that Elway faces as a rookie quarterback?
Well, I think just the fact that he's up against a defensive coordinator, Woody Woodenhofer, that really knows the game and knows what he wants to do and can really mess with his mind trying to get him to do things he doesn't want to do.
Frank Lewis showing motion inside, then back out. Ferguson is pressure, rolls out, and is dumped. He is sacked by Doug Betters. There was no place to go.
The good coverage in the defensive secondary is really what caused that sack to happen. Betters had been blocked past the quarterback. The coverage downfield was excellent, allowed Betters to have been run by and then come back and make the tackle. There you see Betters being pushed around the quarterback. He looks back and Ferguson runs right to him. That's probably the easiest sack he ever got.
4th down, 17, a loss of 12 with a sack. Greg Cater to kick. And Vigorito is set for the return. The Dolphins could come up here again with good field position. Almost blocked following the high step. Still gets off a good kick. Vigorito backpedaling. Flag is down on the play downfield to the 40 on the return. 45, 50. Down the sideline. One man in between. And he is cut down. And Vigorito comes down holding his knee. David Kilson making the tackle, saving the touchdown, but a flag was dropped early on in the play at the 22-yard line. Ineligible man downfield. They'll refuse it.
Offense, ineligible receiver downfield, decline, first down.
So Miami will have the football in scoring range, a 57-yard kick, but a 60-yard return by Vigorito, who comes up injured.
This ball was almost blocked. A high snap takes him out of his rhythm. Ball is almost blocked. He gets a great kickoff. You know, normally when you have the punt block on, Charlie, you don't have much chance of a return. But here you see Vigorito with a great return down the sideline. Comes up on the kicker. The kicker makes the saving tackle. Unfortunately for the Dolphins, Vigorito seems to be hurt.
The 62-yard punt return. Injured on the sideline. We'll take another look, and later on we'll, of course, have a report on his condition.
This was an excellent return by Vigorito. Good blocking. Several key blocks by the Dolphins along the sideline. Looking for somebody, someplace to go. I think Kilson, number 43, is the man that saves the touchdown.
Right there.
Right there. He gets a blow right on the knee.
11-yard line. First down. Woodley wants to cash in immediately. Has a man, it is just out of his reach. Eddie Hill. The intended receiver, Eugene Marv, is a linebacker that he beat coming out of the backfield. We have an injury report from the Dolphins. We do not have one on Vigorito as yet. We have a report on Jimmy Cephalo. He has a sprained knee. He is out. He's been replaced by Nat Moore. Let's go back to the last play.
It's a good throw by Woodley. Eddie Hill was in the game for one reason. That's to run this play. They tried to pull up Charles Romes on the play, sneak Eddie Hill in behind him. The execution was there, just missed it by inches from a Dolphin touchdown.
David Overstreet and Woody Bennett. 7-0. Denver out in front. We're liable to have a score here, though. Here's Overstreet jumping to the outside. He has problems. He'll lose maybe a half a step. Let's see where they mark it. He may have worked his way back to the line of scrimmage. Barry O'Clark was there for the defense. They'll mark it the 11-yard line. So it'll be 3rd down and 10. And Eugene Marv, the inside linebacker for the Bills on the weak side, is injured. We've got a timeout. 12:22 left to go. We're in the second quarter of play. We'll be back in just a moment. Knee. Eugene Marv came out of the game. He's okay. He had to come out for one play, or they would have been a charged timeout. 3rd down and 10 now. The Bills are showing a different secondary.
They're showing, Charlie, a 3-man line and 7 defensive backs. This is something new and different that the Dolphins haven't expected, and it's very tough for a quarterback to read 7 defensive backs.
Only one linebacker. Eddie Hill in motion. Inside handoff. Nathan. Throwing back to Woodley. To the 5-yard line. Sherman White makes the tackle. Is that a planned play, or is he a second receiver?
He's the primary receiver.
You're kidding me.
David Woodley caught one pass last year, and it was for a touchdown. They used it in the first game of the season in 1982 against the New York Jets. This is the first game of the season, 1983. About this same field position, worked for a touchdown. This time, Charles Romes reads it. They had the man coverage. They like to have man coverage on it, but he read it and came up and made a big play, saved a touchdown.
22-yard field goal attempt upcoming. Jensen holding. Von Schaman has a 32-yarder. And he adds to that a 22-yarder. So it is now Miami 6 and Buffalo nothing. A pair of field goals by Uwe Von Schaman. 11:31 left to go in the first half. Dolphins on top. Figueredo, a sprain to his right knee. Doubtful if he will return, as Uwe Von Schaman now will be kicking off to either Rob Riddick or Van Williams. He has sailed 2 kickoffs out of the end zone. This one goes high, catches, brought down Riddick. Wynn catching it, holding it up. Riddick's return to the 25-yard line where the Buffalo offense will come on the field. Emmett Tilley down for the Dolphins on their special team. Now Buffalo, here's another look.
This is Robert Sowell, a free agent, a rookie that made the ball club for the Miami Dolphins strictly as a special teams player. One game in the preseason, I think he made 6 or 8 tackles going down on punt coverage and kickoff coverage, and he made that ball club because of the special teams play.
Buffalo from their own 25. Their defense has been outstanding in 2 crucial situations, holding Miami to field goals. Now they have to see if they can get an offense going. Baker the inside handoff. The quick pass on the screen is to Butler. Butler is a first down, 38-yard line. Gain of 13. Lyle Blackwood with the tackle. All right, we have a lot of scores going on, a lot of games. Marcus Allen has scored twice for the Raiders. They lead Cincinnati 14-0. Denver over Pittsburgh now 7-0, second quarter. Giants in front of the Rams, 6-3. Minnesota over Cleveland, 10-0, second period. Atlanta leading Chicago, 6-0 in the second quarter. That's it for now. Last play gaining 13 yards, first down 38-yard line. 5 in the secondary for the Dolphins. Here's Krebs. 44-yard line. Gain of 6. Second down and 4. And a marker on the play.
Illegal formation. The wide receiver was on the line of scrimmage covering up the tight end, who is a receiver. You did not do that.
Oh, well, they check out the penalty flag. We'll look at the scoreboard. Illegal procedure against Buffalo, as Bob Greasy pointing out. St. Louis leading New Orleans 7-0. Green Bay back in front on a seesaw battle over Houston, 14-10 second quarter.
Illegal formation, 5 yards, still first down.
Cleveland 6, Baltimore 3. And the last one we have now, Detroit 5, Tampa Bay nothing. That's a safety and a field goal. Looks like a baseball score. Yard line. First and 15. Krebs on the receiving edge of the 39. Gain of 6. It'll be second down and 9. Mike Kozlowski making the tackle for the Dolphins.
Charlie, when you think about the offense for the Buffalo Bills, one of the first people you have to stop is Krebs. Ferguson knows this, tries to get the ball to him in broken field situations. Mike Kozlowski has the coverage here one-on-one and makes a good play to bring Krebs down with the minimal gain that he had there.
Buffalo 39, second and 9. The draw. Roosevelt Lake. Mark it for no gain. It'll be third down and 9. Bob Baumauer was there. And so Ferguson will be throwing, and where will he be going, Bob?
He'll be going into the #1 defense in the NFL, for one thing. I don't know if there's any weaknesses back there or not, but you got to believe it's third and 8 or 9. He's going to have to throw downfield to one of his wide receivers. You can't pick up that throwing short or a screen, anything like that. Normally it's man-to-man coverage, so you have to work downfield.
Again, 6 men in the secondary. From the shotgun. Downfield, pulled in by Jerry Butler. Outstanding catch. Blackwood brought him down.
This is the same pattern that Ferguson completed earlier in the game to pick up a first down. On your left of your screen, Butler going down, breaking out, throws the ball in front of Blackwood, behind the other defensive back, just makes a super catch. Krebs is a big play man, so is Jerry Butler.
Just inside the Miami 41, a gain of 20, first down. Roosevelt leaks the remaining back. Ferguson throwing it away, but he had a receiver in the area. Now let's go to New York City and an update.
Charlie, Len Berman for NFL 83. Steve Grogan for the Patriots goes bombs away on the Colts. He finds his rookie from McNeese State, Stephen Starring, 73 yards, but they missed the PAT. The Patriots lead it 6-3. Back to you, Charlie.
The Patriots, by the way, will be in Miami against the Dolphins next Sunday. Second down and 10. Now for Joe Ferguson, the quarterback of the Bills. Miami leading 6-0 on a pair of field goals. Just over 8 minutes left to go in the first half. Tony Hunter in motion. Pressure sack. Second sack of the ball game for the Dolphins. A.J. Dewey got this one. Better's got the first one.
Dewey is a big key to that defense, as we've mentioned, for the Miami Dolphins. He's constantly moving around, always creating indecision on the part of the offensive line. Here the Buffalo lineman comes over, picks him up. Dewey's ability to shed that blocker and get back in there, plus the fact that there was good coverage in the secondary, allowed that sack.
A loss of 11. It'll be third and 21. Line of scrimmage, the Buffalo 48. Lewis in motion. Ferguson from the shotgun. Incomplete. Butler, the intended receiver. It'll be fourth and 21. Kozlowski had the coverage for Miami, and Greg Cater will come in to kick. Now, we've talked about Reggie Roby, the great rookie punter for the Dolphins, but now Cater had a 55-yard punt just a moment ago with a high snap and pressure.
Cater is an excellent punter. He was one of the top punters in the league last year, and certainly is punting the ball very well here today.
Mark Clayton is now the deep back on the return since Figueredo is out with a knee problem. This will be fielded by Glenn Blackwood, one of the upbacks, and he is out of bounds just about the 30-yard line. This Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, join us where primetime baseball specialist Billy Martin's New York Yankees visit the hard-slugging Milwaukee Brewers, or in some areas you'll see the California Angels take on the Toronto Blue Jays. So check your local listings for the game in your area. Now to the League Championship Series. Stay with us for the best in baseball here on NBC Sports. That last kick, not that good, 32 yards with a 10-yard return. Miami from their own 30-yard line, first down. Andre Franklin. His forward progress took him to the 34, where Eugene Marr, who was shaken up earlier, came out for one play, so they didn't get a charge timeout, made the tackle.
Take a look at the work inside. Kuchenberg helps on Schmerlis, who gets knocked down, gets back up. Stevenson rolls up his legs. It's a tough position to play that nose tackle. Here's an all-pro that people really don't get to see that much of, but he's an excellent player. Oftentimes is double teamed.
Fisher spotted at the 33, so it's second down and 7 on a delay handoff to Franklin. Almost 40-yard line. We'll call it the 39, marking for 6. Third down, still about a yard, as Lucius Sanford and Charles Romes were there for the defense. Officials say it's a little bit closer than that. Officials timeout, and the chains will move across for the measurement.
You know, Charlie, the defenses on both teams here today are playing excellent football. To really no one's surprise. They were the top 2 defenses in the league last year, and they continue to play so well this year.
About half a foot shy. One of the reasons that Jim Tunney will call for the change is that he wants to mark the ball with the chain, bring it out into the hash mark to set the ball down for the next play. That's one of the reasons. The other, because normally they can tell when it's a foot short.
They can normally tell. A lot of times the captain who is standing there with him will insist on having a measurement because maybe Don Shula or Kay Stevenson will want it, and they know it's not a first down, but it gives them a little time to know what play they want to run in that situation.
Very sneaky, these head coaches. Third down and a foot. You go with the quarterback sneak.
Probably run to the right.
No, they risk a handoff. They may not have made it. The Bills defense says no. I'm surprised they risk a handoff.
That's one of their stronger plays. They ran to the right with Andre Franklin. They have a power block over there on the corner. Buffalo is unusual in that regard in that they usually commit all 11 people on short yardage situations. When a team does that, it gives you an opportunity to fake a running play and throw a deep pass. Buffalo's seen a lot of those.
A standing ovation for the defense. Dolphins have had opportunities to score. Twice they've been turned back. Twice they settled for field goals. It's 6-0. That kick was good for only 33 yards. Buffalo now from their own 29-yard line, first down. And don't forget the second half of the doubleheader, the San Diego Chargers and the New York Jets today. Opening day. Opening Sunday on NBC. The tight end changing sides, shifting the strength of the offense. Tibbs running to the strong side, the side of the tight end, as 3 yards to the 32. It'll be 2nd and 7 as we pause briefly for station identification. This is the NBC Television Network.
This is South Florida 7, WSVN, Miami, Fort Lauderdale.
This is Charlie Jones and Bob Greasy. We're at Rich Stadium in Buffalo, where we have 5 minutes and 8 seconds left to go in the first half, and Miami leads by a score of 6-0 on a pair of field goals by Luleman Chaman of 32 and 22 yards. Frank Lewis is the injured player, and while he's being administered to, and Byron Franklin will come in to replace him, let's check the scoreboard.
Raiders certainly getting off to a quick start.
Marcus Allen had 2 touchdowns.
Chris Barr field goal, 38 yards.
I thought Cincinnati would be tougher than that. I think the Bengals thought so also. Minnesota now leading Cleveland by a score of 10-7. As Jimmy Cephalo with that sprained knee is going to the locker room, so he will not be returning. Tom Vigorito is out with a knee sprain also for Miami. And now Frank Lewis, who did not play in preseason. He had a groin injury. He was held out the first couple of games in preseason, then had a groin injury the last 2. And this may be a reoccurrence of that injury. We'll wait for the report.
Well, Charlie, one of the real strengths of the Buffalo Bills has been their wide receivers. But in the last couple of months, they've really had a lot of injuries. Robert Holt has gone down. Lewis and Butler did not play the entire preseason. Mosley, who was a fine wide receiver, is hampered by a hamstring. They've had all kinds of problems, and now they have to go with young people, first and second year people, that they're really not sure of.
Barry Tuttle also out with a shoulder injury. Another one. You're right. Good point. 2nd down, 7. Ferguson to throw. Sends 4 out on the batter. Pass is complete to the tight end Bramer, and he is spun down at the 35 by Bob Brzezinski. Mark at the 36. Gain of 4. 3rd down and 3. What is Ferguson looking for as far as the defense is concerned at this point?
He was looking for a signal or a sign over there from Kay Stevenson. He wanted to play. He says, help, this is a tough defense. Give me some help. But he's looking for 3 yards. What he'll do is send a couple of wide receivers downfield, look downfield. Obviously, if they're shot for a big play, he'll take it. But he's going to throw to his tight end or one of his backs, trying to get that first down and get some momentum created for the Bills.
He's looking at 6 men in the secondary. He wants to find somebody short underneath the cover. But he goes deep. And it's caught. Byron Franklin. Big play. 3rd down and 3. Blackwood and Small make the tackle for Miami, and the crowd enjoys it.
This is just what I said. Wide receiver going downfield. He had man-on-man coverage. Franklin in there replacing Frank Lewis, who was just injured on the play. Dolphins leaving an opportunity to make a big play. 3rd and short yardage. Ferguson reads it, makes a big play out of it.
He picks up 35 yards on that play, and a first down at the Miami 29. So the Bills now with 3:18 and counting, the time remaining in the first half, have excellent field position on this drive. They started from their own 29 with that play. The big play of the drive, here's Cribbs right side. Can't break it, 25-yard line. Gain of 4, 2nd and 6. Brzezinski with the tackle. A.J. Dewey was also there.
A good play by Bob Brzezinski. He fought off the block by Bramer, strung it out, finally got rid of the tight end, and came up and made the tackle.
Buffalo in this drive has to pick up at least 3 points.
They need to get something going. They've punted too many times. They've had an interception, some punts. They need some points on the scoreboard.
Ferguson 9 of 13. Fake to Roosevelt Leaks. Pass is complete at the far side. Could be a first down at the 18-yard line. It will be. Jerry Butler, the receiving end. Gerald Small pushed him out.
That pass was complete to Jerry Butler. Ferguson really wanted to go to Cribbs coming out of the backfield. He's looking downfield, trying to get one-on-one with Charles Bowser. Throws the ball outside. This is the secondary receiver. What he wanted to do was get the second-year man, Charles Bowser, Hauser downfield with Cribbs. The Dolphins would have nothing of it. Lyle Blackwood was deep, so he came off of it and made a good completion.
First down at the Miami 18. 2:21, time remaining, second quarter. Tony Hunter just creeping in motion, Cribbs the ball carrier. He has 3 to the 15. It'll be second down and 7. Here's a look at the clock as we're moving on to the 2-minute warning, where the clock will be stopped for a timeout. The reason that it's stopped in the National Football League, there are rule changes in the last 2 minutes of the half, not for commercial break. But we'll take a commercial break anyway. With that opportunity, we'll be back.
Scorer off to a big start again this year. We'll have details on NFL 83 on our halftime report.
The fans may be jumping, but the temperature continues to rise. It is 90 degrees on the field. The ball at the 15-yard line of Miami. It is second down. We said 7. The officials say 8 to go. We mentioned the rule changes in the last 2 minutes. There's several. One that comes to mind is that if there is a score on the ensuing kickoff last 2 minutes, the clock does not start until the ball has been touched. The field of play, rest of the game starts with a kickoff. Fake to Cribbs. Incomplete. Butler, the intended receiver. It will be third down and 8. William Judson, defensive left cornerback, at the cover.
A good read by Ferguson. Good play action by Cribbs into the line. Looked downfield. He looked for both tight ends. Looked for Bramer and for Hunter. Came off of him and through to the one-on-one coverage. Trying to work on Judson, who's filling in for the injured Don McNeil.
Third down and 8. Now, what will the Dolphins give them on this? What do they want to take away from a defensive standpoint?
But I think Ferguson has been throwing to his wide receivers. He's been throwing a lot to them. They definitely got to take them away, but if you do that, Charlie, and double on them, then you leave Cribbs man on man and Hunter. And they have a lot of respect for Tony Hunter and for Cribbs.
Hunter, right side, is flexed out about 6 yards. Hunter stops, delays, goes over the middle, reverses, the pass is to him, and is incomplete. Judson had the coverage.
Bill Arnbarger to the left there. Bob Matheson, new assistant coach with the Dolphins this year, sending in their defensive signals. The Bills tried to get a little in and out, what we call the tight end breaking, starting across the field. So many times the tight end will continue across, stops and comes back out. Ferguson just missed him by overthrowing him a little bit.
Fred Steinberg with a 33-yard attempt. Gopher with the hold and is blocked. Ernest Road, we pick up to make the block. Big play for Miami. Robert Sowell was there, number 45. Bob Greasy talked about him earlier. Made the Dolphins of the special teams. You saw why.
Let's see if this was a little bit low or if someone just got up all over it. I think he hit the ball low, and watching it live, Charlie, it came off awfully low.
And we believe that it was Ernest Rowe who blocked the field goal attempt. This is a public service for the National Football League. Now, watch the left side of your screen.
This is something that both teams do a lot of scouting on. Ernie Roan slips inside, 55, blocks the field goal. They do as much work, almost as much work on their special teams as they do on their offense or defense. They knew that they had a good chance of blocking that field goal.
Way to go, Ernie. Here's the screen. It's complete. Tony Nathan, but he doesn't get but a yard. Fred Smerlis with the tackle. It'll be second down, 9.
2-minute offense. Dolphins have 3 timeouts to go.
Woodley goes deep. It is incomplete. Duriel Harris, the intended receiver. That stops the clock. 1:15 left to go in the first half.
That was a big play. Charlie, that ball was right in his hands. If he would have caught that ball, he could have come out the other side, maybe gained another 15, 20 yards. Here we see it again, looking from behind Woodley. Bills are in a zone. Duriel's cutting right across. Duriel Harris doesn't drop many.
But he dropped that one. Be sure to stay with us at halftime. NFL 83 will be updating with scores and highlights of all the action of this first Sunday of the 83 season. They're down 9, Woodley. Lots of time. Now he has pressure. And he's close to the first down. Took a little jar. But he came up all right. Gary Thompson is the man who hit him for the Bills.
So he took a big jar.
Yes. He got up so quick I just called it a little jar. Bells are ringing a bit. It was the first down. Pass is complete. Duriel Harris, this time he holds on.
Tony Nathan.
Tony Nathan, 22. Thank you. I'm surprised now they call it timeout. They wanted to run the whole thing without a timeout. They had plenty of them, 3. You're shaking your head.
I think that's just the indecision of a young quarterback, not knowing what Don Shula wants to do. Certainly, when you have that many timeouts left with only 35 seconds, the Dolphins had 3 timeouts in 35 seconds. They certainly could use one there. It's an interesting conversation here, Charlie.
What goes on? What goes on? Timeouts left are 2 and 2. Not important right now. What goes on?
The important thing is really that the quarterback goes over and gets a drink of water and a towel to cool off with. That's the important thing.
But what is the dialogue between Don Shula and the quarterback?
Well, Coach Shula may say, what do you like? And David might say, well, I like something to the right side. I'd like to throw it to this receiver or that. He says, what about an out or a slant? And John Sandusky, who's there with a cap on, may say, well, I want to have a good protection for my lineman. And Woodley says, well, give me another drink. And they'll say, okay, I'm running out of time, so let's get back in there and do something. Normally to come down from up above, they'll see something. And what you want to know is, what have they done the last 2 times?
No.
What has the defense done, and what do we like against it? They've shown zones the last couple of times. Screen might be good, but if they're in a man coverage, a screen is not any good at all. So you probably run something that's good against man and good against zone, something downfield where you can look downfield and come up to a shorter receiver.
Second down and 3, 33-yard line of Buffalo, 35 seconds left in the first half. Wobbly high pass, almost intercepted. Harris, the intended receiver, Charles Rose diving for him, couldn't get there. There was a flag down at the 27-yard line. Holding against Buffalo.
Defensive holding. Woodley is getting rushed, 4-man rush. This ball just slips out of his hand. Over Duriel Harris's head. Romes almost comes up with it. Defensive holding is an automatic first down for the Dolphins.
38, 5 yards, first down.
Line. Now been 15 straight. That does not include this one, of course, because the quarter is not over. Dolphins lead 6-0 for a field goal. David Overstreet goes out of bounds. 26-yard line, gain of a couple. Second down, 8, stops the clock, of course. 21 seconds left. David Kilson, rookie free agent from Nevada Reno, was there for the Buffalo Bills. So now a chance for the Dolphins, Woodley, to regroup just for a moment.
You've got 21 seconds. You've got 2 timeouts. You're on the 26-yard line. You figure go throw the ball downfield a couple of times. You got plenty of time on the clock considering you've got 2 timeouts.
You throw to the end zone now?
No, not necessarily to the end zone, but downfield.
We have movement prior to the snap. Could cost the Dolphins 5. What's the interior lineman from tackle to tackle? That'll be it. Go to their 3 or 4 point stance and they're set. They cannot move. There's movement before the snap of the ball. It's an automatic call. They stop the play. They mark it off. Jim Tunney to say the same thing.
False start, number 68. Still.
Eric Laxall gets the call. 5 yards back to the 31. Down goes over. Second and 13. Does that change anything?
No.
5 yards?
Doesn't change anything. You still need to get you still like to get a little bit closer for a field goal. This is a long field goal. It would be a 47-yard field goal. The last 2 plays have been runs. That's fine if the team is in a man-to-man coverage because you can get some yardage if it's man because everybody's running away. The defensive backs are running away.
Fumble. Bills may have it. Ben Williams was there, and it is Buffalo's ball. Buffalo defense writing the story of this first half.
They certainly are. Everybody is covered. Woodley has no place to go with it. I think the ball was knocked out of his hand by one of the defensive linemen as they come around the back. Woodley has time. There you see Ben Williams reaching around Eric Blackso, knocking the ball out.
And Williams gets the fumble recovered. So double duty for Bill.
And there's a shot of the dummy in the stands.
That's a great line. 12 seconds left. Buffalo on their own 42-yard line. First down. Pass is complete and out of bounds. Byron Claxton with 6 seconds. No, that was Jerry Butler, I believe.
It almost looked like he was trying to lateral that ball to Joe Cribbs.
Yes.
I wonder where they got that play.
That one has been seen before in the Orange Bowl.
Just a few times.
Now, will they come back with that same play and then go for the lateral?
Well, they've got 6 seconds. They don't think they have enough time to run either a pass or a run and line up for a field goal.
They only have one play, though, right?
They've got to throw it downfield into the end zone or some gimmick, and every team has their gimmicks.
Either that or you throw it up deep and hope for a defensive penalty. Butler, there it is, same side out of bounds. 1 second on the clock. Oh, 25-yard line. Butler with back-to-back receptions. Langford had the coverage. Kopler is in the hole.
This shows you a little bit of the class and poise of Joe Ferguson. Comes in, hasn't been doing a whole lot in this game. Waits, reads the coverage, throws it over the Dolphin defender. Perfect throw, perfect catch, out of bounds. You can't execute much better than that.
So Fred Steinfort will have his second opportunity in the first half. First one was a 33-yard attempt that was blocked. We have a timeout call on the field. 1 second. Time remaining. The ball just inside the 25, so the hole will be about the 32, an attempt of 42 yards. That is within Steinfort's range.
A few seconds ago, we're looking at the Dolphins threatening to go in and score a touchdown, at least a field goal. Big play by their defense, and now here we see Buffalo quickly, a lot of momentum going into the halftime.
From the 33, a 43-yard kick. It is no good. He misses it to the right. So a boost for the Dolphins as Steinfort is 0 for 2 in the first half on Shyman is 2 for 2. Uwe von Shyman with field goals of 32 and 22 yards. The face tells the story. That's the end of the first half. The score, Miami 6 and Buffalo nothing. 8,000. Part of the story of this game, the rivalry. But only 21,000 season tickets sold by Buffalo, 59,000 individual tickets sold for this ball game. And Bob, you really gave me the line that I used a moment ago. It is a typical Miami-Buffalo game.
Very much so. I can remember a lot of times coming up here, going in at halftime, it'd be 6-3, 9-3, 9-6. A lot of field goals, not many touchdowns. Defense is really dominating this game. The Dolphins offensively have not done very much, and the Dolphins defense is playing well enough to keep Buffalo off the board.
What do you look forward to in the second half?
Well, the Dolphins definitely have to get some offense going. Shula may decide to start calling the plays himself. He has let David Woodley call them in the preseason. He's let him call them in the first half. One thing for sure, that flea flicker we saw down here on the goal line where Nathan threw back to Woodley, David Woodley didn't call that one.
Now, your assessment of the two quarterbacks. You've got young Woodley on one side. without Strzok behind him. You know, he's the number one. Everybody says more confidence, good preseason. Ferguson, everybody remembers how he finished last year, which was really a bad finish for him. So your assessment of the first half of the first game of the season?
Well, they're both going against strong defenses. The first game of the year is different. I don't care if they do well in preseason or if they don't do well. There's something special about opening day. And they're both, I think, a little jittery. Woodley is not playing as well, obviously, as he certainly has proved in the preseason that he can. Ferguson always seems to have some good stats against the Dolphins, but doesn't quite seem to put the points on the board. Last year in the two games, he had 5 interceptions in one, 2 in the other one. I think Woodley needs to come out and have a good half for the Dolphins. The defense cannot continue to keep the Bills off the board.
Offensively for Buffalo, what do you expect?
I think they're going to continue doing what they're doing. They're moving the ball up and down the field. Unfortunately for the Bills, they haven't gotten it into the end zone.
They did have an opportunity, though, when you look back at the first half, to in reality have a tie. They had one field goal attempt blocked by Ernest Rowan. It was from 33 yards out, and then the 43-yard attempt by Steinfurt was missed to the right.
Exactly. They've punted 4 times, tried 2 field goals, and had 1 interception. You know, but they've had more movement. They've been on the field more. They've run more plays than the Dolphins. The Dolphin offense has not created much at all. They've received the ball on the Buffalo 34 and the Buffalo 11-yard line and could not get it into the end zone and had to settle for field goals.
One of the big plays of the first half, Tom Vigorito, 61-yard punt return. That's the good news. The bad news that he ends it with a knee sprain. He's out for the game.
This will be a big loss for the Dolphins. Vigorito is so versatile. Not only is he a running back, he is a wide receiver on third down situations. He can do a lot of things, but this is where his value to this team is, on special teams and especially running back punts.
And here comes the injury. David Kilson making the tackle as he comes right across at the knee, spins him. It's a legal play. That's part of the game of football. Time of possession the first half, 19 minutes for Buffalo, 11 minutes for Miami.
Not
now with
surprising.
Cephalou and Vigorito out with the knee problems, we do not have a report as yet on Frank Lewis, who came out for the Buffalo Bills, and we're still checking on that. So we will update that. Eugene Marv came out for one play, but then he came back in, and while we wait the kickoff, let's check the scoreboard to see if there have been any changes recently. Raiders now leading 17-0 over Cincinnati. I'm really surprised. Not that they're are leading, but that they're leading 17-0. I thought it'd be closer.
Cincinnati's got a lot of problems. Not the least of which is 2 of their star players are leaving next year to the USFL.
I think this is a surprise.
I'm very surprised that Pittsburgh's not ahead by a little bit more than this.
Steinfurt kicking off. Mark Clayton is the deep back on the return. Here comes Clayton to the 10 for the Dolphins, to the 20. Now the 25, maybe the 26-yard line. Scott Burkus was there for Buffalo. So for Miami, David Woodley, the quarterback, who's seen Tony Nathan, Andra Franklin in there most of the time. Overstreet and Bennett have been in. The receivers, Duriel Harris, Cephal's out. Nat Moore's replaced him. Dan Johnson is the tight end. Geisler, Kuchenberg, Stevenson, Newman, and Laxo, the offensive line. So let's see if Miami now can start off with any kind of an offensive thrust in the opening drive of the second half. Here's Franklin to the 35, out of bounds. At around the 36-yard line, they'll mark it, so we open up with 11 yards and a first down.
Take a look at the 2 running backs for the Dolphins. Sanford coming inside, Nathan picking him up. One of the key reasons why this play was successful. Duriel Harris getting a block on Romes. Franklin really came into his own last year, Charlie. Made the Pro Bowl, gained over 700 yards in the Dolphin offense, and was really a mainstay in the type of offense that Don Shula likes to have. He likes to have a fullback that can grind it out when your passing game is not working.
Don Johnson, the tight end, switching the strength of the offensive set. Tony Nathan. From the 36 to the 39, he has 3. It'll be second down and 7 as Ben Williams and Chris Keating make the tackle. And we will keep updating you throughout the afternoon with everything in the National Football League. Truly a national game. Rams leading the Giants by 4 in the third quarter. Minnesota leading Cleveland by 10. Chicago in front of Atlanta by 4. And St. Louis leading New Orleans by 3. Second down and 7. Flags on the play. Pass is low but caught. On the far side, Tony Nathan coming out of the backfield, and he is hurt. Lucius Sanford was there. Cephalo and Vigorito, of course, are out for the game with their 2 knee injuries. We still have not had a report on Frank Lewis, the wide receiver for the Buffalo Bills. And let's see how it happened, Bob.
It looked like Sanford just rolled over, and this is a little option. He came out of the backfield. He has the option to break inside or out. He breaks outside. Looks like a little elbow. Right into the face mask, and that a flag was not dropped. That's borderline. You can call that. Could be called by the official. What happens is, and I'm not protecting it, let's look at it again. In reality, we're looking at it in slow motion, though. Right? If we can, we'll look at it again, regular speed, to see how much time the officials have to make that call. Because we have the luxury of slow motion, just shy of the first down, as you see. Now, normal speed. I think the thing about this, Charlie, is it's not flagrant. He didn't wind up.
Even there, we stop it. Could we do it normal speed and just run it clear
short
through?
of the first down. Penalty will be accepted. Second down.
There was another penalty, but it's, it wasn't here. It wasn't what we were looking at. The flag was dropped earlier on. Now, regular speed, clear through. This is the official making the call. Over the top, bam. You don't notice it there. It's really hard to call from official standpoint. And he has to make that split-second decision.
Again, I think if it's flagrant or intentional or intimidating, I think they would call it.
Now, what they did, here's the call on the penalty. See, it was offsides. Now, if they took the play, it would be a foot shy of the first down. Now they take the penalty, it's about 2.5 yards shy of the first down when they get the down over.
Exactly. It's the second time that David Woodley has pulled Smurlis offside. That's been one of Smurlis' problems in the past, that he jumps offside. You'd think a guy that close to the ball would be able to stay on sides.
Second down, about 2.5, 44-yard line. Franklin has the first down as he goes out to the 50, picks up 6 yards on the play. Quick rundown of the Bills' defense that has been so outstanding. Basic set with Williams, Smurlis, and White the front 3, with Sanford, Keating, Marv, and Parker the linebackers. Park, Freeman, Cushion, Romes in the secondary.
There's Smurlis, 76. Kuchenberg and Dwight Stevenson responsible for Smurlis and Marv. Good blocking by the Dolphin offensive line. It's an interesting battle going on in the trenches of the game today. We'll keep highlighting it for you.
50-yard line, first down. David Overstreet to the 38-yard line, gain of 12, first down. Now, they say Overstreet is a slashing type runner. That was a perfect example. He's from Oklahoma, number 1 draft choice in 81, year and a half in Canada, now in the NFL.
See if you see the wide receiver, Nat Moore, coming back in motion and going inside and blocking right there on a middle linebacker. Not many wide receivers in this league will do that, block on a middle linebacker. Nathan cuts up inside of his block and makes a good run.
Did you notice how Overstreet changed the ball? Right in the middle of traffic with the left arm and the right arm.
That's not the time you want to change the ball.
Both backs in the block, screen, knocked away. Pressure and an infiltration of the screen. Parker knocked it down. It'll be second and 10 at the Buffalo 38.
Urban Parker, his 4th year from South Carolina State. He goes a 6'4", 255, just runs right by Tony Nathan, reads the screen, almost intercepts the pass.
What goes in the past when you were playing? But they're that big. What really goes through you? Do you have time to realize it at that moment?
Well, all you try to do is outthink them. That's all. It's the only chance I had. They're coming at you. They want the ball. You throw it around them under their armpit somewhere. Just get rid of it. They'll leave you alone.
Throwing back to the left side to Tony Nathan. Sanford with the tackle. 31-yard line, gain of 7. It'll be 3rd down and 3.
There are no cheap plays against this Buffalo defense. Woodley was looking to the right the entire time, had to come back to the left. Buffalo now substituting, going to 7 defensive backs. It's a real problem for the quarterback, Charlie. You don't know where they're supposed to line up, and they don't know exactly how they're supposed to play these things. They don't do it as well as linebackers. You can read linebackers and you know where they're going.
Could it be in the same spot all the time to start from?
They move around a little bit, and it's more difficult to read them.
Inside handoff to Nathan. Diving for the first down. He may have it. That's interesting about it. And they don't see it that much. I mean, they don't play it, and so it's an entirely different look. And the second is, they're cheating in and out, up and down and back, because it's different for them.
Well,
and so it's got to mix up what the quarterback can see.
Okay, so you're calling the plays, and so you say, okay, what am I going to do? Throw against 7 defensive backs in the secondary? That's why you see Dolphins running plays like this, a little handoff, and make those defensive backs, those small defensive backs, be linebackers. They're not used to coming up and being linebackers. You can make 3 or 4 yards, and that's what the Dolphins did in that instance.
And they pick up the first down. Freeman and Thompson were there for Buffalo. Miami needing 3 yards, and they got it. 27-yard line of Buffalo. First down. In the first half, at this part of the field, Buffalo completely shut down Miami's offense.
This is the area of the field where it gets so difficult to move to, and the closer you get to the goal line, the tougher it gets even yet.
Overstreet and Franklin are the backs. It is Franklin. It does get tough. Ben Williams for the Buffalo Bills with a lot of help. Second down. No gain. 2nd and 10, 27-yard line.
This used to be an area of the field too, Charlie, that if a team would move all the way down the field, once you cross the 50 or 40-yard line, you'd see a lot of blitzing to try to get you out of field goal range. Buffalo is not doing that. They've changed their defenses a little bit from last year with Kay Stevenson being the coach and Bob Zeman the defensive coordinator. It's more of a zone type of defense.
5 on the pattern. Throwing underneath the coverage to Woody Bennett. He caught it at just inside the 24. We'll call it the 23, a gain of 4, so it's 3rd down and 6. How do you pick up 6 yards against this defense?
Very carefully. You have to. You have to be.
I've never felt so much like a straight man in my life.
Now, I think
1 yard at a time.
5 or 6 yards. They've got good backs, good receiving backs. Nathan is a good receiver. Eddie Hill's a good receiver. Let him come out of the backfield. Joe Rose is a tight end. Give him an option. Send him down 7, 8 yards and give him an option to go one way or the other.
What about Overstreet? Good receiver?
Excellent receiver.
That was a terrible pass.
The ball was deflected.
Okay.
Trying to hit Nat Moore on a little out, down and out. And again,
the Bills have done it. The defense has done it. Here's a field goal attempt by Uwe van Schamen. And of course, the Dolphins, if he hits this one, they'll be up 9-0. They keep 3-pointing the Buffalo Bills to death.
This is the way this rivalry, especially here in Buffalo, has gone the last 3 or 4 years, 5 years.
41-yard attempt from the 31-yard line. Jensen to Ho. Kuchenberg with the snap. And we have a jump. And contact made prior to the snap. The question is, was he drawn off? The Bill defender drawn off? Or did he come across the neutral zone, make contact before they? So it's encroachment. So Jim Tunney is gathering the officials to death.
There may have been a few.
It is offsides. It'll be encroachment. That's what he'll call it. That's the official call.
The right side, Ed Newman, in the area of Ed Newman. Kuchenberg is the center now. All the years that I was in Miami, he was a center and snapper on field goals, and he would flip the ball a little bit, move his hand, just play around a little bit, especially on real short field goals, just to see if he could draw somebody off sides. I don't know if that was the case there, but these veteran offensive linemen have a lot of tricks, and they certainly aren't afraid to use them in situations where if the 5 yards went against you, it wouldn't hurt you.
Now it's 4th and 1. They still stay with the field goal attempt from the 26 or 36 yards away. High snap, but he gets it down, and it is good. So Uwe von Schamann now 3 for 3, 32-22, and now 36 yards away. And Miami is out in front of the Buffalo Bills by a score of 9-0. National Football League game is being brought to you by Mercedes-Benz, engineered like no other car in the world. By Southern Pacific, 41,000 people working in 18 industries all across America. And by the U.S. Army, a place to be all you can be. Uwe von Schamann kicking off for the Dolphins with Rob Riddick and Van Williams. The deep backs on the return. The drive leading to the field goal took 5 minutes and 31 seconds. Buffalo's first opportunity to have the football in the second half. Here's Riddick with the return near the 35-yard line. And it was Mark Duper who upended him at that point. So the Buffalo offense comes on the field with Ferguson at quarterback, Cribbs and Roosevelt Leaks. As you take a look at the return, I'll set that offense. It'll be Franklin and Butler outside. Bramer the tight end. That offensive line will be Jones, Richard, Grant, Beauchart, and Justin Cross. Defensively, they'll be going against Betters, Baumeier, and Beaucamper. The front three with Radzinski, Douay, Roan, and Bowser, the linebackers. Judson and Small on the corners, Blackwood and Blackwood at the safety. From the Buffalo 35-yard line, I formation. Ferguson comes out throwing, and he goes deep to Butler and overthrows it. Good play to open your offense in the second half, even though it's 5.5 minutes into the second half.
Well, you know, Kay Stevenson had said that one of the things he was going to do this year in taking over from Chuck Knox was be more open with the offense. To this point, they really haven't thrown the ball long down the sideline. That time they were trying to take advantage of William Judson, who is replacing McNeil, as we said, and who Don Shula says is probably one of the best athletes on the team.
You see Frank Lewis, number 82 on the sideline. He's okay. He will be back in the ball game in the second half. That's good news for Buffalo's offense. Julius Dawkins, the rookie from Pittsburgh, taking the 12th round of the draft, has replaced Butler as a wide receiver. 2nd and 10 from the 35. Hand off inside to Joe Cribbs. Cribbs! 44-yard line of Miami after being stopped about 3 times. Wow, Blackwood finally saved the touchdown, a pickup of 20 yards.
Look at Tony Hunter, the tight end, coming off. As you see Cribbs, he's blocking on Kozlowski. Tony Hunter right there making his block. Good run by Joe Cribbs. One of the things the Bills are doing are double tight ends. Washington Redskins in the Super Bowl last year were very successful with Riggins and the Hogs running against the Dolphin defense. The Bills are doing that with Tony Hunter here today.
First down just inside the Dolphin 45. Cribbs comes back. This time he only picks up 2, maybe 3. The market at about the 42. We'll call it 2nd down 7. Baumeier with the tackle.
You know, Buffalo is shuttling in Tony Hunter at certain times, going 1 tight end or 2 tight ends. Whenever Tony Hunter comes in to be the other tight end, the Dolphins are sending in Mike Kozlowski, number 40. And on that last long run by Cribbs, they ran right over Kozlowski. Big Hunter was blocking on little Kozlowski where the linebacker should have. They think they're going to pass when they do it. That time they ran very successfully.
Ferguson to throw, drops it off right side. Roosevelt leaks, and he is out of bounds at the 36. Gain of 6, so it'll be 3rd down. Still about a yard to go if that's where they mark it. Roan and Lyle Blackwood were there. Let's check the scoreboard in the ever-changing picture in the NFL. Rams now leading the Giants by 10, 16-6, 3rd quarter. Minnesota over Cleveland now by 3 in the 3rd period. That's what we have right now. They spotted at the 36-yard line, so it's 3rd down and 1. 3 tight ends for Buffalo, Mark Bramer, Buster Barnett, and Tony Hunter, as both wide receivers come out. But again, as Bob Greasy has told you, Tony Hunter is also a wide receiver. He's number 47. Short yardage, though. They stay with Cribbs. They go inside, and they should pick it up. Doug Bitters at the bottom of the stack for Miami.
I don't know, Charlie. I think it's going to be close.
Well, the crowd reaction says you didn't mark it at the right place. So the change, you're right. They may not have made it there. I had it a little further downfield.
I don't think they made it. You know, Charlie, I think your first possession in the second half is so important to establish the momentum going into the second half. The Dolphins took it and marched it down, at least got a field goal. Buffalo is coming down, trying to get something. This is going to be a big fourth down play for the Buffalo Bills.
And you have to go for it here. You're down 9-0. If you can't pick up inches at this point of the ball game, you don't deserve to win.
Well, you're on the 35-yard line. If you don't make it, you still are not giving the Dolphins that good a field position.
Quarterback sneak.
Over the top.
Fields has it. Crowd tells the story. As the crowd reacts here, we react by going to New York.
Well, Charlie, while Buffalo has it, Denver doesn't. John Elway is out with a bruised elbow. Steve DeBerg's replaced him. Pittsburgh is treating him the same way they treated Elway. That led to a field goal. It's 10-7 Pittsburgh. Let's go back to Buffalo.
It's been a day of injuries around the league so far.
It certainly has, and it's unfortunate, but that seems to be the way it happens the first game of the season.
Cribbs in motion, first down, 32-yard line. Leaks, not a lot of room there. Brzezinski, the first man to get to him. Roosevelt was looking for a little, just a little piece of daylight.
Just a little
It's
crack.
all darkness, right.
He's too big to get through. A little crack, though.
We pause briefly for station identification. This is the NBC Television Network.
This is South Florida 7, WSVN, Miami, Fort Lauderdale.
This is Charlie Jones, Bob Greasy. We're at Rich Stadium, where Miami is out in front of Buffalo by a score of 9-0, courtesy of 3 field goals by Uwe von Schaman of 32, 22, and 36 yards. The Bills with 2 field goal attempts from 33. That was blocked. 43. That was missed. That has been the scoring story. The story being written on the field, though, has been the Buffalo Bills defense. Now, if Buffalo can get an offense going, they'll be back in it. Incomplete. Kramer, the intended receiver, Lyle Blackwood, and Bob Brzezinski were there for the defense. 5 minutes and 43 seconds left to go in the third. Go ahead, Bob.
I think Joe Ferguson thought that he had that one. And a lot of times you see the defense developing. You know your pattern, what you're running, and you know before you throw it that it's going to be complete. This was pretty good coverage by the Dolphins. Just barely. That's a catchable ball right there. If I were down there, I'd be a little hot too.
Third down and 8, 30-yard line. Miami territory. Shotgun formation. Going deep. Double coverage. Incomplete. Jerry Butler, the intended receiver, Lyle Blackwood, and Gerald Small were there.
That's just good coverage, Charlie. It was a good chance. Ferguson had made a good throw. The only place he could have thrown it, it would have had to been an outstanding throw and an outstanding catch. That's just good coverage by Lyle Blackwood. Double coverage deep. Good throw, good chance. Could have been 7. Some other time it would have been.
Fred Steinfurt now with his third field goal attempt. Matt Kofler to hold. 38-yard line, tip to 48 yards. He has the distance. And he misses. He misses to the left. So Steinfurt is 0 for 3. Missing from 43 and 48. And from 33 yards, he has had it blocked. We'll be back in a moment. Successful field goal attempt. First the snapper, then the holder, then the kicker. Watch this holder, Matt Kofler. Oh.
If you want to know if the field goal is good or not, watch the holder or the kicker. You don't have to watch the referee or the officials because they'll take too long. When Garo Yepremian was playing for the Dolphins, You could look at him and know immediately whether it's going to be good or not. If it was good, he'd run off the field with his chin up, very proud.
Tony Nathan kind of scooting under everybody from the 30-yard line. That was the line of scrimmage on the missed field goal. Of course, that's where the Dolphins took it over. His knee went down at the 32, so they will give him 2 yards. Chris Keating was there to be 2nd down and 8. If he went off like that when he was successful, what did Garrow do when he missed?
Well, he'd always stop, put his short arms on his little hips, and look at the field goal and the ball. Look at the goalpost and the ball like...
That moved him?
How could you miss?
Somebody moved the field goal. The uprights, they've been moved. 2nd down and 8. 5 on the pattern. Incomplete. Trying to drop it off underneath the coverage to Tony Nathan. 4 minutes, 48 seconds left to go in the third. Chris Keating picked up the coverage for the defense. It'll be 3rd down and 8 at the 32. Pittsburgh now leading Denver 10-7 on a Gary Anderson field goal of 31. Atlanta in front of Chicago by 3. 3rd quarter. New Orleans in front of St. Louis 14-10. A lot of close ball games working today. Green Bay 28, Houston 17. That was expected. 3rd down 8. Woodley drops the snap, picks it up, still has good protection, throws knocked away. There's the intended receiver, Gary Thompson, the free agent from the College of Redwood in California. Hadn't played football in a couple of years, played 2 years in junior college. He went to San Jose State but didn't play. Let's take another look.
Low snap by Mark Dennard. Woodley gets it, throws the ball a little bit into coverage. I'd have to say that the timing of dropping the football really threw that off. The Buffalo Bills defense is really dominating the offense of the Dolphins.
Reggie Roby will be kicking, and Rob Riddick is set for the return. Look at that average, 48 yards. He had one very short punt, about 33. This one is blocked. And out of bounds. Bill Kelly got it with the block shot. Bills will have the football in excellent field position. What happens, says Don Shula. A 2.5-step kicker. Well, he kind of rocks back.
It's a low snap, a little bit to his left.
Here it is. And there's the block. And we'll be back.
To the left of your screen, number 54, Rodell Thomas. Linebacker of the Dolphins recently picked up. Darryl Talley does an arm over, gets inside of him, puts a good move, good height. Can't blame that on the punter.
No, causes a shank. In reality, it wasn't, it wasn't touched. Officially, it is not a block kick. It was a shank. Here comes Buffalo, flag down. Gribbs the ball carrier, Brzezinski with the tackle. We have not had that many flags. It's been relatively free of penalties. There have been several, but I mean not an abnormal amount. Holding. Is that the first major penalty of the game? That is the first big penalty, 10 yards. All the rest have been 5, as I recall. Everybody's nodding, yes, yes, yes. 3 yeses, 4 yeses.
and I'm shaking my head no.
You remembered what?
No.
Holding, 53, 10 yards, still 1st down.
I'm shaking my head no because I'm thinking what Joe Ferguson's thinking. We finally got some good field position. We're finally going to do some damage. The first play, we get sent back 10 yards for the holding penalty. You just can't make those types of mistakes against a first-class type of defense and expect to win ball games.
Good point. Good point. So it's a major penalty. It's 1st and 20.
That's right.
Not at the 34, but now at the 44. Ferguson not that pleased, as you can see. And he wants a timeout. So we have the clock stop. 4:31 left to go. 3rd quarter, Miami leads 9-0. The conversation continues. Conversation has been concluded between the coaching staff of the Bills, led by their new head coach, Kay Stevenson, the quarterback, Joe Ferguson. Check at the scoreboard. New Orleans leading St. Louis 21-10. New England, Baltimore, it's getting close. Detroit leading Tampa Bay 8-0. 1st down and 20 at the Miami 44-yard line. From the shotgun, Ferguson. Goes deep, there's good coverage, knocked away. Good defensive play, no foul. William Judson was there for the defense. Byron Franklin, the intended receiver. It'll be second down and 20 at the 44.
Joe Ferguson trying to get something going. First and 20, Dolphins in man coverage. Fergie reads it correctly, throws it right on the mark. Judson, the man he wants to get after in the Dolphins secondary, throws the ball right there. That's good coverage, right through his hands. That was a catchable ball. That's a big league play.
Question. He tries to get it all back in one play. Now he, in reality, only has two from the field position.
Not necessarily. He probably had other places to throw that ball, and when he read the coverage and saw that he was one-on-one deep, he says, I'm going there.
Coming underneath the coverage to Cribbs. Out of bounds at the 37-yard line, so he picks up 7. It'll be third down around 12 or 13. Glenn Blackwood for Miami.
This could have been the same pass that he was throwing the previous play. Different coverage by the Dolphins. They were in a deep zone. Took away anything deep, so he comes off from the deep read to the short read, and a nice man to have to dump it to is Joe Cribbs. Good tackle on the play.
Officially, it's third down and 12, just inside the 37-yard line. 6 in the secondary now for the Dolphins. Bills need 12, tipped incomplete. Franklin, the intended receiver. It'll be fourth down and 12. 37-yard line as Ferguson comes out. Lyle Blackwood is the man who tipped the ball, and it all goes back to the penalty.
Exactly. They're booing Joe Ferguson as he's coming off. He had a first and 10 and pumped up ready to go in. Then he made it first and 20. He threw 3 good balls. He read the coverage correctly, threw it where he should have thrown it. Ernie Rowan made a good play on this pass deflection, but that was not the quarterback's fault. He did everything he could do. Good defense by the Miami Dolphins.
Greg Cater to kick. He'll go for the corner. And does it go out? No. It goes through the goal line. It'll be a touchback to bring it out to the 20-yard line. A kick of 36 yards. 4:08 left to go in the third.
She looks like she's having fun.
She is. Bruce Hardy is the tight end for Miami, and Roy Foster is now at right tackle for the Dolphins in his second year. Number 1 draft choice a year ago from USC. The first Trojan to play for the Dolphins. Tony Nathan. His backs for maybe a yard, half a yard. And we point that out about Roy Foster primarily because so many USC alumni are in the NFL. The first one for Miami. Go ahead.
And so many of them, Charlie, are offensive linemen. Excellent linemen. Of course, a lot of good players coming out of this.
Yeah, but you are right. A lot of offensive linemen.
Well, you know, like Purdue is known for their quarterbacks. Southern Cal is known for their linemen.
University of Arkansas is known for Billy Ray Smith now with the Chargers, the rookie, and Lance Allworth is both. That's a good one. Not to forget Joe Ferguson, the quarterback of Buffalo. Quick screen, right side, Tony Nathan. Again, the story written by the Buffalo Bills defense. This time it was Mario Clark. Receivers of the Dolphins. Interesting story developing.
Have not caught a wide receiver for the Dolphins, have not caught a ball today, nor has a tight end. This is a double zone. Mario Clark jams his receiver, comes up, avoids the block by Kuchenberg, and gets a hand in there. These defensive players for the Bills are very aggressive. It's not unusual to come up here and be shut down by your wide receivers being shut down by the corners for the Bills. They are very, very good.
Third down and 8, 22-yard line. Gain of a yard in the last play. Shotgun. Woodley. Complete. Knocked away. It's in the air. Nathan has it.
Complete twice. Do I get 2 completions for that?
He can have a fair catch. It'll still come up about 3.5 yards shy of the first down.
David Woodley looking it over. It's a zone. Throws it in the middle of the field. Gets it to his tight end. Never had a hold of it. I've never seen anything like this in my life.
Now, how was the ball jarred loose? No question.
Joe Rose on the receiving end.
And the punt by Roby. Riddick takes it back to the 18-yard line. Looks for a block. Has one on the reversal of the field. Good, tough return to run the 27-yard line. Rodell Thomas and the Dolphins finally stopped it. So now the Buffalo offense comes back from the field. A 51-yard kick. Hang time was 5.3 seconds. Reggie Roby, the rookie kicker from Iowa for Miami, the return 6 yards.
I'm impressed with Rob Riddick. He's an excellent return man. He makes you tackle him. He's not going to go down the first guy that gets downfield.
So Buffalo's field position a little bit different than the last time. They were at the 34, but a penalty took them back to the 44. That was in Miami side of the field. 1:43 time remaining in the third. Miami leading 9-0, 3 field goals. All successful. Buffalo, 3 field goal attempts. All unsuccessful. Second down and 10. William Judson at the coverage. I know the crowd is antsy for the Bills to score, but as you mentioned on the last possession by Buffalo, Ferguson's having a good ball game.
He's having a good ball game in regards to who he's playing against. He's playing against, like we said, the top defense in the National Football League last year. On that particular play, he's throwing to a wide receiver that has only been with the Buffalo organization for 2 years, and he was out for one of those years with an injury. Frank Lewis is the normal receiver over there, but Franklin is filling in for him. The timing is not what it should be, but Ferguson is not having that bad a day.
Hunter comes back with the middle. The pass goes deep. It's intercepted. Lyle Blackwood with the interception. Miami has the football. Second interception. The Dolphins secondary to go with a blocked field goal by Ernest Rowe. Kramer, the intended receiver. We talk about the Buffalo defense. The Miami defense just as tough.
Man-to-man coverage. You see the Hunter going across. The thing about the Dolphins is they have such great vision. Everybody sees the ball. Lyle Blackwood sees everything in front of him, saw that it was a little bit overthrown. The tight end tipped it in the air, and Blackwood made a good interception. The ball was overthrown, poor throw by Ferguson.
Just inside the Buffalo 37-yard line, first down. Inside handoff to Andre Franklin. Franklin to the 31, maybe the 30-yard line. Chris Keating with the tackle. Now the Bills' defense has to have a little bit of a letdown right now. They've been on the field a lot in the ballgame. Very hot day. There's a look at Ferguson. It's 90 degrees, a little on the humid side. It's got to take a lot out of you.
It certainly does, Charlie. I think their mental preparation, though, is that their attitude is, if we have to shut them down every time we go out there, we will. And sooner or later, our offense will get untracked. And that's the way the quarterback has got to feel also.
Gain of 6 in the last play. Gain of 5, second and 5. He'll pick up the first down, goes to the 25-yard line, a gain of 5 on the play. Rod Cush and Eugene Meyer with the tackle. 35 seconds left to go in the third quarter.
Shot of Don Shula has relinquished his play-calling chores to quarterback David Woodley this year. I wonder if he's had some thoughts on the sideline as to going back and sending in a few plays today.
First down, Miami. Franklin, couple of yards. To the 23, Sherman White with the tackle. It'll be second down and 8, and that should take us to a countdown to the end of the third quarter. Buffalo Bills defense writing one story. The Dolphins leading. We'll be right back and lead you by Chevrolet. Chevrolet is taking charge. By Bud Light, the best has a taste all its own. And by the Easy Betamax from Sony. Simply amazing because it's amazingly simple. This is Charlie Jones in Bob Greasy Rich Stadium, Buffalo. More than 80,000 on hand for this opener. As we start the fourth quarter, Miami leading Buffalo 9-0. have the ball at the Bills' 23, second down and 8. The fake of the sack. As Woodley was trying to throw, Ben Williams got the sack. That is the first sack for the Buffalo Bills in the ballgame.
Here you see it again. This is a sucker play. Foster in front of him pulls. They hope that Ben Williams will follow the tackle. That time Ben Williams came upfield to contain the quarterback and fell right into the sack.
Loss of 9. Third down, 17. From the shotgun. Going deep, open, incomplete. Joe Rose was open. He could not get it to it. And rather than take a look at that, let's run to New York. We'll take a look at it when we get back.
All right, Charlie, elsewhere in the AFC East, Frank Kush is now 1 quarter away from his first victory. Pagel throws second touchdown for free agent Bernard Henry. They're just starting the fourth quarter. The Colts lead by 4. All right, Charlie, time for your replay.
Here's another look.
Looking from the end zone. The linemen are switching, crossing, double zone coverage. Woodley looks off Sanford, almost gets it in there. That's a tough throw that far downfield.
Field goal attempt of 50 yards from the 40. It's good. Uwe Von Schaman is 4 for 4. From 32, 22, 36, and 50 yards. And Miami now leads 12-0 with 14:20 left to go in the ballgame. Dolphins, as far as scoring is concerned, is named Uwe Von Schaman. 4 for 4 field goals, 12-0. He'll kick off to either Riddick or Williams. And he sails this one. It clears on the fly the end zone. They'll bring it out to the 20.
You think he's not pumped up, Charlie?
Oh, yeah.
He's been an excellent kicker for the Miami Dolphins ever since he came out of the University of Oklahoma. He had a great year last year. Been a very productive kicker. We might mention the wind here is really, you see the flags at the top of the stadium, they're flying pretty good, but on the field, there's not a lot of wind. What there is swirling, and it will come up at certain times, but he certainly didn't need any wind to knock that last one through.
And now the Buffalo offense trailing 12-0. With 14:15 left to go in the ball game. Have possession on their own 20-yard line. Fake. Ferguson scrambles. No, incomplete. Butler, the intended receiver. Good coverage by the Miami secondary.
Here you get a look at Jerry Butler as he comes off the line of scrimmage. Gerald Small, that's Judson, running with him all the way. He's got help inside from Lyle Blackwood. Ferguson, at the meantime, was looking downfield. He wasn't going to throw it to Butler. But sometimes when you're a quarterback, you don't have anything else. You just kind of improvise. And you got 14 minutes to go, and Ferguson needs 2 touchdowns. Plenty of time to do it.
Second and 10. Hunter in motion. Ferguson has protection. He waits, and he's sacked. Third sack for the Miami Dolphins. Baumhauer has this one, Betters has one, and Dewey has one.
Charlie, I'm looking downfield, and I don't see any place to throw the football. You have to give credit to the defensive secondary of the Dolphins that can hold the receivers off until the defensive linemen get in there and make do their damage.
Loss of 5 to the 15, so it's third down 15.
This is always a fun down. Third and 15 on your own 14-yard line.
Cribbs to the 20. And they'll bring him down around the 24-yard line, so he'll end up about 5 or 6 yards shy of the first down. Crowd doesn't like the call, but for the secondary, takes all of your pass patterns away. May be able to break something outside.
Well, you haven't been successful throwing on first and 10, second and 10. The last possession, you had a tip ball downfield. You're backed up in your own territory, and a lot of negative things can happen. You still got 13 minutes to go. You're going to have the ball maybe 2 or 3 more times. Those 2 or 3 times, you've got to score.
4th down and 5. Here's the kick by Cater, and it is way short, but takes the Bills' row. Picked to the 40-yard line by Mark Clayton, and he is out of bounds at about the 50. Chris Keating was there for the Buffalo Bills. And now with 12:48 left to go, it is Miami 12 and Buffalo nothing. 12:48 to go. Miami, they want to use up the clock. Another field goal, perhaps. That's what they want to do.
They've got a great field position. They want to move the ball down, keep the ball, at worst, get a field goal. They're in good position right now.
What about Buffalo?
Buffalo can still score.
Play action. Knocked away. Good defensive play. Nathan had it in his hands, knocked away by Parker.
Good play by Parker. Big linebacker, big as some of your defensive ends. Dolphins isolating a small back on him. Made a good play, but...
You surprised they're throwing here? Stops the clock when it's...
They're throwing on Parker. They moved the tight end so they could get the tight end on the other side and get Parker covering the small back out of the backfield. Parker stays with him pretty well.
Now, in total offense, Buffalo defense has held Miami to 135 yards total offense. Miami defense has held Buffalo to 200 yards total offense.
The turnovers are the story of the ballgame.
2nd and 10. Here's Nathan. 45-yard line. 8 of 5. It'll be 3rd down and 5. Now let's go back. Buffalo has been unable to score. They'll have the ball 2, at the most maybe 3 times. Why do they think they can score then? They haven't been able to do it throughout the ballgame.
They've done it before right here on this field to the Dolphins. A few years ago, the same type of game. I think it was 9-0. Turnover, something happened. The Dolphins fumble. Buffalo takes it right in on a big play. It's 9-7. Then they've got the crowd, the momentum, and something. It's just a very loose attitude, a very loose approach by the offense. They just go in and score. And sometimes you don't score until your last 2 possessions. But you got to have the confidence that you may do it when that time comes.
3rd and 5. Another good defensive play. Overstreet, the intended receiver, and we have some pushing and shoving on the sideline. Jerry Thompson was there for the Bills defense. Emotions running high in this ballgame. They always do in this rivalry. It is 4th down and 5.
Ball is right where it needs to be. Coverage is there. I'm very impressed with both the defensive secondaries, and both the defenses are playing very well today.
Reggie Roby will be punting, and Riddick is set for the return. He's going for the sideline. Fair catch is called for, and it takes a Miami bounce. They didn't want that kind of a bounce, though, and it goes in for a touchback. Fair catch was called just to get everybody away from the ball. Let the coverage team slow down just a step. 45 yards on the kick. Buffalo has the ball at the 20-yard line. They are down 12-0, but they have 11:45 left to go. Can they do it? We'll find out. German-born Fred Steinfurt 0 for 3, 33-yard field goal attempt blocked. He missed right from 43, missed left from 48. Uwe von Schamann 4 for 4, 32, 23, 36, and 50 yards. 12-0. That is the tale of the score. Ferguson has pressure, rolls right back into a sack. Doug Betters and A.J. Dewey will split that one. And that is the 4th for the Dolphins.
I just have to shake my head. Ferguson is trying passing on 1st down, passing on 3rd down. The Dolphins are just getting after him. He's got tight man-to-man coverage. A.J. Dewey is in there after him. Scrambles around. What they need to do maybe is put a running back in there. Let the running back play the quarterback, drop back to pass, and then take off running out like a scramble. There's nobody open downfield, and there's all kinds of long color shirts in your backfield.
A loss of 12 on the sack. It is 2nd and 22. This pass is completed about the 13-yard line to Krebs. That's where he caught it. That's where they'll mark it. A gain of about 5, 3rd down and 17. Mark Kozlowski with the tackle.
It's a little option again to the quarterback. Ferguson just trying to get something going. He's backed up. He's got to throw it. Dolphins were in a zone that time. If he'd called that play on the previous play, they had man coverage, and Krebs could have put a good move on him and got loose. That time they're in a zone, and Krebs just had to hook up between them, and one of the linebackers just come up and make the tackle.
They mark it to the 14, so it goes for 6, and it's 3rd down 16. This pass is complete to about the 22-yard line. Tight end Mike Bramer. Gerald Ford was there for the defense. It'll be shy of the 1st down. And Mark Clayton will be anticipating the punt of Greg Cater. Last play good for 9 yards, so it is 4th down and 7. And again, Miami will have good field position. But more important, they'll have the football. That way they can control the clock. And it goes out of bounds, stopping the clock. Ball will be marked just outside the 36-yard line, a punt of 40 yards. And it'll be a 1st down for the Dolphins. They lead by a score of 12-0, courtesy of the 4 field goals by Uwe von Schaman. Don't forget the second half of the doubleheader this afternoon. Dick Enberg and Merlin Olsen are there. They're getting ready to go. They're just about 20 minutes away from kickoff in that ball game. The Jets and the Chargers. But this one is not over yet, although we are close to the final chapter. Overstreet. If he gets a half a yard, that is it. Chris Keating and Charles Romes for the defense. Bills defense, Miami defense, both outstanding today.
Well, as we mentioned, Charlie, during the course of the afternoon, the 2 defenses are the top 2 defenses in the league last year, and it certainly appears as though they're going to challenge for those positions again this year.
Really just about a half a yard on that, and that's about all that they got. 2nd down. 9.5. 9.5 minutes left to go. Blitz is coming, picked up. Pump fake. Wanted to go deep. Was he hit? Looking to throw deep. Eugene Marr was putting the pressure on. Duriel Harris was on a fly pattern down the far sideline. That's where he was looking.
Here you see Marv coming up the middle. It's one of the few times the Bills have been in any kind of a blitz situation all day. That's your basic. That's
yes,
called
he was.
Getting creamed is what you call that.
So it's 3rd down, still 9.5 yards to go for the 1st down. Woodley, 8 for 21, 40 yards. Goes deep again. Same spot, incomplete. What do they like about that? What does he see?
Well, I think he's been trying to throw short a lot of the time, and his receivers have been so covered. You send a couple wide receivers here. You look at the secondary. You notice the linebackers just dropping straight back. They're just dropping in zones, and they'll have good vision on the quarterback. There's not many holes in that. So he says, let me send somebody down the sideline. I got a one-on-one chance of getting Duriel Harris on Charles Rome, hitting a big play.
Reggie Roby to punt. High snap. He's not been getting good snaps. Has pressure. Gets it off. Riddick feels it at the 8-yard line. Slips a tackle. Slips a second tackle. That'll be it. Boy, he does fight for his return yardage. They blow the whistle. And now he takes his punch, and now it's round 1. I mean, Riddick doesn't fool around. You push me, I'll try and deck you. 55 yards on the kick, 3 yards on the return. Bruce Hardy was down for the... Oh, we'll take another look. Riddick he'll go after you.
Riddick, as we've said all day, has not gone down, and I think the frustration of the Dolphins trying to get him down. The play has been blown dead here.
Kozlowski, the stiff arm pushing, he throws the ball at him. There's another shove. Now, he starts swinging.
It must be something about the numbers they're wearing. 40 against 40.
The tail of the tape has the same numbers. All right, Buffalo has the football. At their own 11-yard line, first down. 9:04 left to go in the game. Screen. Complete. Cribb. 15. 20. Here he goes. Out of bounds. Dewey saves it. First down, and the first bit of life the Bills offense has had in quite a while.
Since the first half, a good call by Ferguson. You're backed up in your own near your own end zone. Give it to the guy that's got some big playability. Get it to Cribbs with a little screen. Break a couple of tackles. See what happens. Needs to get the ball to Cribbs and the Butler. Those are the guys that can make the plays for you. The ball comes out there right at the end.
Key block with the center, Will Grant, gain of 23. 34-yard line, first down. Right side, Roosevelt leaks out of the backfield, 41-yard line, out of bounds. Gain of 7, second down and 3. And now let's check that scoreboard to see what's happening. A lot of games coming to conclusion. Fourth quarter, Raiders way out in front of Cincinnati by 17. Minnesota leading Cleveland, fourth quarter, 27-14. Oh, still close, Chicago and Atlanta. Falcons by 3. Houston getting a bit closer to Green Bay. Second and 3. Cribb. First down. 46-yard line. He gets 5 yards. Doug Betters with the tackle. We mentioned it is warm. Oh, it's cooling off a bit. On the field, it's only 86 degrees.
Was that frog smiling the last time?
He's cooling off. It was 90 degrees earlier. And another score. Baltimore leading New England by 4. Ferguson has pressure and is sacked. That is the 5th for the Dolphins. Doug Betters gets this one. That's 2.5 for Betters, 1.5 for Dewey, 1 for Baumau. That's unofficial, of course.
The killer bees, as they call them, at the end of last year, getting good heat on the quarterback. A.J. taking up 2 people. Ferguson's men are covered downfield. You know, the thing that Ferguson could be doing more is moving around more in the pocket. There's a lot of people back there that aren't supposed to be there. The one thing that could really hurt the Dolphins is a guy like Woodley could run out and scramble. Ferguson does not have that ability, therefore they're getting all the sacks.
Loss of 8, second and 18. Ferguson stumbles just a bit, steps the pressure, throws for Sutter, hangs just a bit, but Cribbs has it out of bounds, stops the clock. 7:28 left to go in the ballgame. Paul Langford was there for Miami. They marked the ball out at the 43-yard line, so it should pick up a 4. It'll be third down and 14. Shula looking for an opening day win. Miami leading 12-0. 4 field goals by Uwe von Schaman. Ferguson's statistics, 211 yards. No touchdowns, 2 interceptions. There it is. First down. Jerry Butler, Miami 41-yard line. Paul Langford chased him out. That could be the play that turns it around. 3rd and 14. Or not turns it, that's wrong. Erase that. that gives the Bills an opportunity to get back in the game.
It's a big play. It's 3rd and 14. They need to get something going. Butler is covered to the right side by Ernie Roan, who falls down. Big play by Butler. He and Cribbs are the guys that can ignite that offense. Ferguson's got to get the ball to him. It's one example of that happening.
Also, you may have picked up another big play by another Buffalo Bill player downfield. Coming back at a chance to block. Could have been a clip. Stepped away. First down, Miami 41, 42. 42 they call. Has to wait, tipped away. Myron Franklin, intended receiver, a little underthrown. William Judson with good coverage. Judson looks good.
He's excellent. He's got excellent speed. He's a very intelligent ball player. He and Fulton Walker were battling for the spot, the cornerback spot. Fulton Walker injured himself in the second last preseason game. Judson has been doing a very good job in there today and has been tested several times by the Buffalo Bills.
Second and 10. 42-yard line of Miami. 7:15 remains. Ferguson in trouble. He'll be sacked again. That's number 6. Baumhauer got that one, his second. 6 sacks for the Dolphin defense.
That time they had a little blitz on Charlie, and they're giving all kinds of fits to Ferguson. I can see the frustration on him. He's tried everything he can do, and it's just tough. You get up against a Bill Arnsparger coach defense, and it's very difficult. Here you see Ernie Roan coming around. They just get penetration in the pocket. That's what they want to do. A guy that cannot scramble that well and run around, they want to break down the pocket, and then he's in trouble.
3rd down and 24. Just outside the 45-yard line. Bills down their own territory. Pass is complete to Tony Hunter. 47-yard line of Miami. Gain of about 7. So it'll be 4th down and still 17. I didn't it'll be 4th down about 13 or 14. Mark Clayton anticipates the punt. Greg Cater is in. Clock is moving. 6:09 and counting. Time remaining in the game. That may have been the last 2 rounds of this drive for the Buffalo Bills. Good kick, high, lazy floater for a catch is called for. And taken to the 13 and then spun down. And a flag will be dropped. Yes. Mark Clayton signal for the fair catch, a 33-yard kick. You have to stay away from him. You can't do that. I mean, it was Gary Thompson. Thompson coming down got blocked away, and when he was spinning off of a block, he may not have seen the signal. That may have been what happened.
Exactly. Did not see the fair catch signal. You know, Charlie, you say that the Bills don't have a chance. One of the reasons for punting for Stevenson is that maybe the guy will drop the ball. Figueredo's hurt, or Clayton's in there, maybe he'll drop it.
Chevy Chop.
2 left, and the Dolphins lead 12-0. Andre Franklin will be the remaining back. Dan Johnson, the tight end. Nat Moore is there. Bruce Hardy, there are 2 tight ends. Uriel Harris, the other wide receiver. Penalties, Miami 1 for 5, Buffalo 7 for 50. So the Dolphins, again, off to the start, they usually lead the National Football League in the fewest penalties. Here's Franklin. Now they're working on the clock. Ben Williams and Steve Freeman for the Buffalo Bill defense.
When we get a 2-minute warning, I'm going to drop.
So that's part of the strategy now is work on the clock.
Well, definitely. They've got a 12-point lead. They put their double tight end in there. Their big fullback, and see if they can eat up some of the clock, make some first downs, and even if they have to punt the ball, at least get 2 or 3 first downs where Buffalo's only got 2 or 3 minutes left.
2nd and 4, a gain of 6 to the 34-yard line. Franklin, again, the remaining back. Franklin jumps to the outside, close to the first down. Shut off inside, immediately went for the corner, picked it up. Rod Cush makes a tackle right at the marker on the far side. That's kind of unofficial, just to give you a look. The change on the near side in the second half. referee says it's not there. Third down, maybe a foot, that's about it. Just shy of the 38-yard line.
Bill stopped the Dolphins earlier in the game in a third and short yardage situation. Take a look at the Buffalo Bill defense. There'll all be 11 of them up there working on this run. Look for it to run right here. He's checking off probably right up the middle.
Good call. Goes to the 40. What did you read the difference that made you know that he was checking off, that as a viewer or as a fan in the stand that we can watch for?
Well, I think the slant of the backs there is the indication where I thought they may be going to the right side, but more importantly, I think when he looked, you can tell when a quarterback's checking off. And having seen Woodley enough, I knew that his voice there and his eyes were different, looking to the right and left. He was making sure everybody heard him. Whereas when he's not checking off, he'll just come up and say some numbers either way. You could tell he was checking off.
First down, 40-yard line. Franklin gets a good lead block around the corner, and he's out of bounds. Near the 48-yard line. So he has just about 80 yards. It'll be second down and 2. Charles Rowe makes a tackle, and it was Duriel Harris with that lead block.
Looks like the left
3.5 minutes left to go in the ballgame. Miami 12 and Buffalo nothing. There has not been a touchdown in the ballgame. There have been touchdowns in other ballgames. Atlanta leading Chicago by 3, 2017.
Dan Henning, the new coach in Atlanta, doing well.
Ooh, Bum Phillips is alive and well in New Orleans. Green Bay, that game's gone back and forth. I'm surprised about this.
That's a surprise.
That is a big surprise. Franklin, and he should pick it up as he moves to the 49-yard line. Buffalo has 3. That should be enough for the first down. Crowd getting a little restless and beginning to leave for the parking lot now. Sherman White and Rod Cush with the tackle. And of course, those of you watching this ball game, just stick around. We've got another good one for you. The New York Jets and the San Diego Chargers, second half of the doubleheader here on NBC today.
This looks like it's going to be a 9-0 game, Charlie. The game last year.
12-0.
12-0. I think last year, I think it was 9-3, wasn't it?
Same idea, yeah. Same type of ball game, though, recently as it is. Franklin again, the ball carrier. A couple of yards to the 47, second down 8. Eugene Marv and Urban Parker with the tackle.
Dolphins won that game. That was the first game after the strike last year. Came up to Buffalo, scored 3 field goals and won the game. This year they're going to come up to Buffalo and kick 4 field goals, it looks like, and win the game again.
But Kay Stevenson, the head coach of the Bills, they don't have to hang their head. I mean, their defense looked excellent. You expected that from them. Their offense did move, but they were moving against a very tough defense of the Miami Dolphins, and if they were successful on at least a couple of their field goal attempts, they missed 3, then they would have been right in it. And that changes the complexion.
When you play certain teams, you know almost going in what type of game it's going to be. Like Buffalo, Miami seems to always be a defensive battle. Now, they could go on and play some other team, and like I think New England and Buffalo always have scored a lot of points. Right. So going in, I mean, last year when Chuck Knox was the coach and Kay Stevenson was on the staff, Buffalo only scored 1 touchdown. So today, they haven't regressed that much from what they did last year.
Timeout has been called on the field, as you saw, the clock being stopped with 2:24 left to go in the ball game.
The other thing we should point out, Charlie, is Joe Ferguson, Kay Stevenson has really not had their offense together. Cribbs only played a little bit in the preseason, and both wide receivers, Lewis and Butler, didn't play at all in the preseason. So it's kind of hard to get your timing down when your guys aren't in there around you working with you.
Second and 8, 47-yard line of Buffalo. Miami with the ball. Franklin to the 40-yard line. It'll be third down. Still about a yard to go for the first down. Chris Keating makes the tackle. Time to remind you that Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, join us for a primetime baseball special. The New York Yankees against the Brewers, or in some areas, the Angels take on the Toronto Blue Jays. And again, this year, the 2-minute warning. And we're going to be treated to some of the most exciting finales from NFL history. They're called Fantastic Finishes. Remember that name, and here's one of them.
By Bloomington, Minnesota. Bud Grant senses victory with a 4-point lead over Dallas. The Cowboys are down to their last play from scrimmage. But that man is Roger Staubach. And that pass, known today as the Hail Mary, is complete to Drew Pearson. Dallas wins 17-14.
We pause briefly for station identification. This is the NBC Television Network.
This is South Florida 7, WSVN, Miami, Fort Lauderdale.
This is Charlie Jones, Bob Greasy. Fourth quarter, 2-minute warning has just been given. Miami leading Buffalo 12-0. Woodley completing 8 of 21 for 40 yards. Ferguson 21 of 36 for 226 yards. But Joe Ferguson suffered 2 interceptions that stopped drives. Third down and 1 at the Bills' 40-yard line. 2 tight ends, 2 running backs. And we have encroachment, contact being made across the line of scrimmage prior to the ball being snapped. I mentioned in the first half that the reason for the 2-minute warning is because of rule changes. We mentioned one of them on a kickoff. The clock does not start until the ball has been officially touched in the field of play. Also, another change in the rule, and I'd like to make a correction because I made a statement in the first half. Here's the call on that by Jim Tummy.
Encroachment, 83, 5 yards, makes it a first down.
Encroachment penalty, of course, with the yardage. It is a first down. And that is, I said that when in the first half, when Eugene Marv was hurt, that he had to come out for one player that'd have to take a charged timeout. That is not true except during the last 2 minutes of each half. So an injury is an official's timeout, except for the last 2 minutes. That's to get away from the fake injury. So that's a couple of the changes that you have in the last 2 minutes. Franklin carries, and he just wants to run out the clock. A time for us to remind you, the executive producer of NBC Sports is Michael Weissman. The coordinating producer of NFL football is Ted Nathanson. Wait for Ted's name to come up. There he is. Want to get Teddy on. Today's telecast has been produced by David Stern, directed by Jim Cross. Associate director is Steve Rosen. And of course, there are an awful lot of people, though, that make it happen. There's about, and Arnie Rand, our technical director, TD, as we call it. Second down and 7. Woody Bennett gets the call. And Red Smirlis gets the tackle, but it's kind of a wind-down procedure from here on because in reality the game's over. We've got a second half of doubleheader of Jets in San Diego, though, so we don't want the viewers to go away.
Should be a good ball game, too. 2 high-powered teams certainly figure to be there at the end of the year.
And a different kind of ball game. Here we looked at 2 very strong defenses. There we can look at some wild fireworks and offense. So a full afternoon of all phases of football.
If this was a pitcher's duel, that one certainly should be a high-scoring game.
Woody Bennett inside the 25, and that should pretty much wrap it up as far as the offense is concerned. Only if the Bills want to stop the clock with a timeout. They do not choose to do so. And so the lonely countdown, you could see the empty seats already as everybody heads for the parking lot. But it's been a good ball game.
It's been a defensive ball game, to say the least. It goes down the post as a typical Miami Dolphin Buffalo Bill game.
That's what we said going in, and that's the way it was coming out. The victor is Don Shula, the Miami Dolphins. The final score here at Rich Stadium in Buffalo before more than 80,000 is Miami 12 and Buffalo nothing. That wraps it up here. We'll be back in just a moment.
Okay, cross-X right onto left.
Field goals of 32, 23, 36, and 50 yards. For Bob Greasy, I'm Charlie Jones. So long, everybody.